Walk around the compound, see some tigers and a squeak. Yeah! Oh, well, hello there. What do we have here? A little Mr. Arch hiding behind the grass. Being very alluring. Being very mysterious. Ooh. A tiger of mystery. Still a bit warm. Still a bit warm. Oh, mid-90s, something like that. And it's feed day. So kitty cats are starting to be up and about. Up and about. Aren't you, Tess? Yeah, you're up and about. Up and about. Don't you know? And yeah, so they're excited. Of course they would be. I mean, it's feed time and it's the cool down time. So anytime, like right now, because that's the thing, when it's summertime, they have to conserve so much of their energy throughout the day. Hi, Jess. Hi, baby. They have to conserve their energy through the day. They have to they have to slow down. They have to take it easy, take a break, you know, because it's just so hot. Hi, Rasa. Sid. They have to conserve their energy. So once they are able to actually, you know, kind of for the first time of the day since the morning time, be up and about, that's a good time. Because they'd rather be kind of, you know, they would rather be kind of at least have the option of milling about. I wasn't going to say milling about because, you know, they're cats and they can still be lazy. It can be perfect temperature and perfect conditions and they're still going to be like, oh, I'm going to sleep about 17 hours today. Because I'm a cat and I can do that. I don't have bills to pay. Such is life. Hi, Car. Kari has some of the best anticipation faces whenever we're feeding her. And she doesn't seem too animated right now, but come feed time, she is going to light up when that tractor is positioning itself in front of her enclosure. So, that being said, hello all you big cat lovers out there, it's me, Derek, again, and welcome to another super wonderful, fantastic, amazing, beautiful, sleepy lion walk around the compound webcast. Look at these two, utilizing their shade, Noe and Wally. Oh my goodness. Totes adorbs. Totes mad cray. Adorbs. Oh, I'm a little bit tired. Been working out a lot lately and doing a lot of work. I mean, we, you know, have been butchering a bunch of cows and doing different work around the compound, and yeah, it's just, you know, pretty sore. Kind of sore all over. Been trying to lower the sodium content of my diet just because, you know, I eat too much salt. So, yeah. It's just kind of gotten me all sorts of different places right now. But I think I found a good balance because when I was trying to, you know, cut salt and stuff like that, I think I cut too much salt and I started to get kind of woozy, and I'm just like, oh, that's not good. So I don't do that anymore. I kind of upped the sodium intake for the day. Oh man, we're just talking about all sorts of really exciting things right now. You know that I'm surrounded by lions and tigers at the moment. I'm talking about like, oh well, you know what? I really felt like getting unsalted butter was probably going to be the best thing. It's going to be the best thing for my health. Hi, Haley.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay.
One of our interns. She's from Houston. Hi, Firebug. Are you excited? Are you excited at the prospect of proteins? The prospect of proteins. Hi, Mita Pita. Yeah. This is happy times. But see, Melita's happy right now, and she's doing pretty good. But then, sometimes the emotional energy of the situation can build, and then she becomes a little bit more crazy pants. It can be a little bit difficult to deal with. So yes. Especially when hunger is involved. Oh my goodness, hunger. Hi, Serena. Hi, beautiful. Yes, I know. Oh my gosh. I have been learning of the value of some things that have been widely considered to have a tremendous amount of value. You ever do that with like music and movies? Stuff that, stuff that's been like within like the pantheon of our cultural existence for a really long time and is very highly regarded, but you just kind of never got into it. Not because you were trying to editorialize or say it was a bad thing, but just you never did. Or maybe it kind of slipped you by, or maybe it wasn't in the right time frame, or, it was a generational kind of thing. Well, I've been having something like that happen recently. Hi, bud. Where's your brother? Where's your brother? That is not an acceptable answer. Where's your brother? Oh, there he is. There he is. He's way back there. He's like, I see you. Hi, Slade. Oh, there you go, Zoom. But I've been listening to a lot of Nirvana lately, and gotta preface this. I was abundantly familiar with a lot of their stuff, and the whole Kurt Cobain thing. I knew very cursory bits of knowledge, and I knew that they were massive. They were massively successful, and the voice of a disaffected Generation X, and all of that stuff. I did know that. I was familiar with these things. But I didn't really take the time to delve deep into the catalog. I didn't really take the time to really try to understand, well, why? Why was this guy and this band so highly regarded? And it was just like, okay, I'm familiar with it, but I never really absorbed it. And I've been absorbing it lately and watching different things and documentaries and old interviews and stuff like that, and like, holy crap, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Just how amazing and unique the sounds were, and the voice was, and the style of writing, and yeah, it was crazy. I don't want to sit there and kind of break it down, but it's one of those things where it's like I've been so, and like I couldn't believe, like, because I really did start to kind of go into the albums and stuff like that, and then I couldn't believe, like, oh my gosh, I know this song. Oh my gosh, I know this song. Oh my gosh, I know all of these songs. This is crazy. And the first band that I ever really went and took a very critical look at was Pink Floyd. Like really absorbing all of their albums and learning about Hi Kate, and learning about their songs and the writing process and the different thematic elements of their albums, and how they created their own genre, their own unique sound, and I thought that was pretty cool. But I never applied the same critical listening techniques to Nirvana, even though it had been single-handedly viewed as the mechanism that completely changed the face of music, back in the early 90s, and introduced a whole new way of thinking. goodness gracious, if Mr. Cobain would still be with us, who knows where, you know, a lot of that alternative stuff could have gone. Yeah, rascal. I know, you don't even care. This is like it's a weird topic. I know, this is a weird topic for a webcast. I don't care. It's you gotta realize, it's like, I gotta talk about the things that like are interesting me at the moment and the stuff that I'm experiencing now, and that is like the thing. Because like, I'll go through various bits and pieces of something where I want to just dive into something just head first and just crazily, like a crazy person. There was a period. There was like, I'll get obsessed about things, about listening to certain bands or listening to certain music or reading about certain people or authors or stuff like that, or certain you know, figures of science, or you know, just different stuff like that. And I get really engrossed in trying to learn about them, and then I stop, and then it's just like all of a sudden, just like a flash, I stopped doing that. Like I remember there was a period I listened to the Beatles. Oh, he's peeing. See, doesn't really care. There's a period I listened to the Beatles' White Album, probably over the course of maybe like a 3 or 4 month period. I no joke, listened to the Beatles' White Album probably about 60 times. Maybe even more. There were times where I would listen to it all the way through, and then I would put it back on repeat and listen to it all the way through again. Like, as I was doing different like work, don't think I was just sitting there just like, oh yeah, and like not doing things, but I would just do that. I would listen to something just obsessively and just wear it out. And then I'd be like, and then it's like, okay, now it's a part of me now. Now it's a part of me, and I'm gonna carry that with me. Like it's been woven into the mesh, into the fabric of my being. What are you doing, mister? You wanted to weave yourself into the fabric of my being as well. But I think that you wanted to weave your teeth into my being, didn't you? I saw your crazy eyes, and I was trying to stay focused on the topic at hand. That is the thing. I'm trying to stay focused on the topic that I'm talking about, you know, like, about the things and kind of how my thought process worked. And the whole time I'm looking off screen, and I'm seeing Chompers' eyes get all beady, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna try to come after me, and I gotta flip this camera around to get some cuteness real quick. But I still have to try to talk about the topic at hand. Walk around the compound webcast. Come on, it is a difficult thing. I know, I make it look so easy. Walking and talking and engaging with the cats. Only a scatterbrain. Only a complete scatterbrain could I guess make this interesting. Well, I'm your scatterbrain. But yeah, and I started to think about, you know, it was a crazy thing, because I remember asking, how old do you guys think I am? I'm 30. I'm 30 years old. I was born in 1985. So I didn't start, like, I would say I didn't start kind of becoming aware of a lot of things in music until maybe around 6th grade, middle school. So that would have been 1995, 1996. So that was kind of after. It was like we still were definitely feeling the influences of grunge and whatnot, and of Nirvana, but that time had already kind of passed along. And I wasn't really too tremendously interested in a lot of modern, pop music. I was developing more anachronistic tastes. That was based on my dad, playing Pink Floyd and playing a lot of Beatles. He took me, my parents took me to go see the Rolling Stones Bridges to Babylon concert in Madison, Wisconsin in 1997. That blew my mind away, because I didn't really have too much. I kind of had hey, this stuff is kind of cool, this older brand of music. And then they took me to that concert, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, I want more. So I did. I started to get really obsessed with a lot of that old stuff, and it was just so amazing. And I still do a lot of that, so I find things like like old rock, and I went through a Boston phase for a long time. I went through an Earth, Wind and Fire phase. Went through a day, and it's like I still am in the phases. It's just I'm not as just like weird and obsessed about it. I went through a David Bowie thing for a while. It's just a Roy Orbison thing. I was on a Roy Orbison kick for a spell. So and now I'm on my Nirvana kick, and I'm like, these guys are great. Oh my gosh, why didn't anyone ever tell me? It's so stupid, because like I'm realizing how massively popular and how massively successful, and I was alive at the time, and it just flew over my head. But then again, I will say, back in the day, we did have basic kind of cable, but didn't have MTV. We had VH1. So maybe that'll tell you some stuff about my musical tastes growing up as a young lad. This has been a weird webcast. I wanted to make, I think of topics as kind of jumping off points, as kind of platforms to engage, the webcast, because there's a lot of times where, what? Oh, no. Yeah, I know. Nirvana, man. Nirvana.
Whoa.
There's a lot of times where it's like, I have no idea what exactly I'm going to talk about through the webcast. I'll just use just a general topic. Okay, start talking about this kind of broad thing, and then see where it goes. That's kind of what I do. And then usually we'll take a bit of a journey, like from, wide variety of different places, and it's kind of a fun experience. And I usually don't stick on a topic for as long as this, but I feel very, very strongly about just how good Nirvana is, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. Hey, did you guys hear? Man. Oh. And it's kind of funny because, I guess there can be, I have a lot of dualism or maybe even hypocrisy regarding my musical tastes, because a lot of the Nirvana stuff was all about just like, it was a disaffected youth, and it was all about, like in rebellion of the excesses of a lot of things that were happening in the decades previous. And you know what, it's just like, we're just not going to care, and we're just going to have a little bit more of a nihilistic viewpoint of the world, and just nothing matters, and we're just going to be angsty, and that's great. Because there's definitely, you can relate to that in that kind of young, person trying to find their way in the world kind of level. Because like we all kind of went through that, but they were very much so against a lot of the different things that happened, as far as like, the glitz and the glam and the hairspray and the metal and the spandex back in the 80s. But you know what? I love a lot of that 80s stuff. I love a lot of those things as well. Huge Van Halen fan. Love them. They're great. New Wave, oh my gosh. Duran, awesome. Love them. So, goes all over the place. This is so weird. Yeah, so I'm 30. I'm a 90s kid. Yeah. Born in 1985. So my formative years. I was recording for probably about a good 2 minutes before I realized that the phone had overheated and I wasn't recording. Oh, I was talking about all sorts of different things about my formative years and being a 90s kid and different things I read on the internet. So I've got to repeat all that stuff now. It's a good thing that I've got such a solid brain. Anyway, my formative years. And we're going to go back to Ace to try to recreate the shot. Okay, put yourself back in that place, folks. Very good. Ace, what is the matter with you, huh? I know, you're just upset that it's so hot. You're so upset that it's so hot. That's why you're really mad. That you're not mad at me. Anyway. Okay, formative years. Took place in You know, between like when I was like 5 years old and kind of like 15 years old. Like that's when I kind of like was aware of the world and I knew things, and I was growing as a young person into a teenager, and that took place between 1990 and 1999. And so that means I'm a 90s kid. And you hear a lot more about being a 90s kid on the internet. And it's because like 90s kids are finally now becoming like adults. And a lot of 90s kids, they look back on the 90s with a lot of nostalgia. But I'm sure a lot of 80s kids look back on the 80s with a lot of, you know, nostalgia, and 70s kids and blah, blah, blah. And you go back and it's always going to be that way. But there's something that was a little bit unique about Cassie. See, this is the thing. Hi. Hi, sugar pie. Can you give us one more squeak? Because you were squeaking so good before the phone overheated. You were really doing a great job. I was wondering if you might be able to give us that again. Please? Please? What was that? Squeak. One more, please. Please, 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 please. Please, 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 please. Please. Come on. Come on. Everyone needs it. Just give me the squeak. Ugh. All right. Anyway, they were talking about it, how 90s kids are very nostalgic, or kind of stuck in the past in some regards, because of some of the... Oh, trying to take his meat out there. Oh, no, failure. Milo, what happened? Talking about how... Oh, is he going to jump from the whole thing? Oh, wait. I thought that maybe he would jump from over there to his platform. That would have been cool to catch that shot from underneath. Oh, that would have been really sweet. But someone made a really interesting point. It was a Tumblr screenshot that got posted on Imgur, and I read it, and I'm like, wow, this actually kind of makes a lot of sense about some of the weird sense of nostalgia that sometimes 90s kids will have. And one of the reasons for it is because it's one of the last generations. It really is one of the last generations within at least American culture who really truly, like from a first-hand basis, remembers what it was like before things became just all, you know, internet, before cell phones, and before things were so connected, and before the internet proliferated everywhere. Because you got to remember, the internet really started to take off in like between 1995 and 1997. That's when everyone was getting like 9,000 America Online CD-ROMs like sent to their house and all of that crazy stuff. Everyone was getting personal computers inside their houses. Fast forward a couple years, everyone's having cell phones and stuff like that. But when you start off earlier, it was different. Like, I remember being in this little thing I read. It was saying, like, you know, when you were a little kid. And I remember this, like, you know, playing with yo-yos and like girls playing hopscotch outside and tag and hide and seek, and I know that those things are still like a thing that happens. And don't get me wrong, this is not like things were so much better back in the day, because I love technological progress. I love societal progress. Mwah! I do. Oh, so much wetness. Oh, you're so crazy. Oh, she's gonna come around this way. Up, 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 up. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Oh my gosh. Pants are so crazy. Your pants. Oh my gosh. But you know, when like in this, I know that a lot of the other people are going to be like, oh, you're so young, you're such a baby. Well, just, you know what, be quiet. This is my personal experience. But I remember things like rotary phones, and I remember you know, things you know, like the floppy disks, and people not having you know, not everyone having personal computers and stuff like that, you know. I remember kids being like going outside like all the time. And I'm the town that I lived in, Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. It was about, geographically speaking, I want to say close to like 4 or 5 miles long. And I remember being a young kid, but yeah, being a young kid and getting on the bike and riding miles to the pool and riding miles to friends' houses, and that was okay, and that was like kind of an accepted kind of cool thing. But then things like, they rapidly changed with the advent of the internet and the advent of a lot of cell phone technology, and people started to kind of stay inside a little bit more, and people started to be a little bit more connected. Then things were changed into kind of what we're seeing like now, where You're expected to have like that online sense of etiquette. So much of our online personas and our online so much of our personas and our identities are now online. And we communicate more now than we ever have before online. Even sometimes some people will even say that some young people have difficult times actually communicating in the real world, because they all they do is kind of communicate online. I mean, take it for what it is. And again, I'm not editorializing. I'm not saying like, oh, things were so much better, or this was so much worse, or this is blah, blah, blah. I'm not one of those guys back in the day, because you know what? There's a lot of things back in the day that probably sucked. All right. And if I had to go back and I'm not trying to wax and be like, oh, I just want to go back. No, I don't. I love being here. I love being now. I think it's great. Some of the best times we've ever been in our collective existence of humanity. I truly, personally believe that. Now, if we could just get these tiger numbers back up, that'd be great. But it was a really interesting kind of thing, because a lot of people will say it's the last generation that really understood, you know, how a lot of kids used to kind of interact and play and be around each other. That was the last ones. You know, because for decades previous, the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, I mean, kids, it was very much very similar style things. Where, you know, there's action figures and toy guns and all that stuff. And then you replace that with iPhones and iPads. And again, not saying that's a bad thing. It's just, it's different. And that's what they said the 90s kids are all about. Because we started off the decade with like that old way, ended the decade with this new way. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. You know, I don't know why that and again, like I started thinking about this stuff because of the fact that I was listening to Nirvana, and the fact that I didn't really know about Nirvana too much. And then I started to kind of delve into my own youth and my own sense of childhood. And these are the things that I think about sometimes. Oh, they're getting fed. Oh, look at that. They're all going to get locked up. They're all going to get locked up. Intern Richter is summoning the young ones. Confounded this Texas heat. But actually, I was mistaken, and I was actually a little bit confused at the beginning, because it's like, well, we're not supposed to lock them up. No, she is actually locking them out, but she's got to get that gate over there shut. There's a second gate. There's a secondary gate back in that walkway. That's shut, so they can't get into the lockdown. We're going to put their food inside their lockdown, but we also got to shut this initial gate. Just as a extra, redundant security measure before we can actually go and put their food in there. And Alucia, I believe, has planted herself inside that walkway, and she says, this is very comfortable. I kind of like it right here. So firmly in the place where we don't need her to be. So firmly in the place. It's like herding cats. Isn't that kind of funny how that kind of thing all works out? Anywho, I've got to help the girls feed. My phone is overheating. I'm talking about Nirvana and rotary phones and all that kind of stuff, and, back in the day kind of things. And again, not editorializing. I don't want to be, because that's another thing. I don't want to be viewed as that guy like, things. Again, no. I'm just making observations on an experience that I had, and how someone had summarized it very interestingly. And I'm like, oh, look at that. And then I will pass that information on to you folks. So, yeah, there you go. All right. Thank you very much again for tuning into the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Make sure that you guys subscribe. Tell your friends. Oh my gosh. Crap, I didn't do shout outs. Oh no. I will. I'll get some more screenshots. That's fine. I'll do more. What's the guy's name? I think it's Adam Holly. Adam Holly. He makes maps. I think it's Adam Holly. I have to double check. But he makes maps, and he posts them on Imager, and then he posts the links, usually in the Walk Around the Compound comment section, and he will have an overhead view of the care facility, and then he will trace my route that I took for the webcast. So if you want to see those, like, and I think he does it for like every single one. Like I've seen him comment on it, and he's like, I really like maps, and I'm just like, wow, this guy really likes maps. So yeah, there you go. There's a shout out. I'll probably try to see if I can screenshot some more stuff and put some things in there, maybe at the end. But again, rambling. Got to feed. Got to go. Subscribe. Tell all your friends about Karen, about Big Cat Derek. You know, all that fun stuff. Love you guys. Bye bye. Gotta go.